Villagers surrender weapons to welcome development. United Labour Party hosts convention. And Kumul Petroleum supports Barramundis campaign.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Monday's news. A village in Madang district has surrendered weapons to local police to demonstrate that they are serious about ending continuous violence and killings. Community leaders in Baring handed over to police firearms, knives and other weapons in order to see development in the area. Various groups in the community have been in conflict since 2015.
It takes more than 2 hours to get to Baring village from the main highway. According to the ward councillor, Trans-Gogol has been getting bad publicity due to the killings in the area. It has taken 6 years for community leaders and the Lutheran Church, with support from local police, to convince the villagers to surrender their weapons and end the fighting.
Those times all duty fight, this plan go out low country, na even vol to Lukomosem.
I need no structure member setting a community police unit, level 5. So we try best by me lo. Bog community na duty go na. We come up in day come up so.
Madang's Rural Police Commander Sergeant Patrick Wallis received the weapons from the community leaders. Sergeant Wallis says the killings and slaughterings have been common in Trans-Gogol in the past several years.
Commander Ramu, me are in this cutting, killing man, nobody cares. English, so you don't worry too.
But due to a number of police operations in the area, these incidents dropped. Wallis urged Baring villagers to change their mindset and allow development to take place.
That sacrifice. I'm sacrificing Bell Bibla Street also. Yubla elections. Now me like Yubla must open brain, open thinking. No one look the solo Yubla Trans-Gogol. Very more.
Masaluvis National EMTV News, Madang.
17 detainees who escaped from Bomana prison last Thursday are still at large. The search for the 17 has now extended to the central province, with police joining in the search. Following the mass breakout last Thursday, only one escapee convicted for murder and sentenced to life was recaptured at Sabusa near Laloki. Correctional Service Commissioner Stephen Pokane says a CS officer was suspended following internal investigations, with the names and identities of the 17 escapees released to the media. Commissioner Pokane says this is the first time after more than a decade for Bomana to report a mass breakout. NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Gideon Ikumu says criminals are now using taxi services to aid their escape. This follows a number of armed hold-ups in Port Moresby where cabs are used to flee the crime scene. Meanwhile, police have impounded a taxi believed to be used yesterday during a robbery at Gordon's KMC food outlet. 5 men walked into the shop, robbed customers and emptied the cash register. The NCD Metsup said the cab driver could be a suspect. According to police, thugs are now using taxi services to escape, with a number of incidents in the past 2 months. The public has been warned to be cautious when moving around in the city. Morbe Provincial Health Authority is facing funding issues to manage the Engau Hospital and other health facilities. Chief Executive Officer Dr. Kipas Binga said they submitted a budget of 190 million kina to the National Department of Health last year. However, they received only 33 million kina. He said the funding is not enough to maintain operations.
Leisengau Memorial Hospital used to operate on a budget of around 36 million kina as a national health function, but according to the CEO of the Provincial Health Authority, Dr. Kipas Binga, funding has been a huge struggle for them since the launching of the Provincial Health Authority.
Kami pula measures on PHA last year nakam, or give me 33 million when measures on PHA. Now, ceiling plan come down now 31 million.
So when you put the budget together, the ceiling is not because of the financial constraints, we understand, but that's the reality now. So now the management will look at how to cut the cost. Now, so I don't know how next day is going to go. It's going to be a big headache for me Morobe is the biggest province.
In June 2019, Morobe launched its Provincial Health Authority, which brought together the hospital and the Public Health Division. Apart from funding issues, the hospital is also down on manpower. CEO Dr. Binga said the Provincial Health Authority couldn't recruit because the recruitment powers are vested with the Department of Personnel Management. He said whilst there are 600 vacancies in the establishment, Department of Personnel Management is yet to complete the hospital's restructure.
200 are in Angao and 400 are in the public health. We are unable to recruit because the recruiting powers are with DPM at this point in time. We are doing all our compliance until such time that power come back, or we are going to go to DPM to recruit. So these are government processes and it takes time. People are like, oh, to give you compliance, go cover. So that's the way we are as far as the HR component of it.
Meanwhile, Morobe Provincial Health Authority has not received any functional grants from the Department of Health over the past 3 years. After submitting a budget of over 100 million kina last year, they received only 33 million kina from the National Department of Health to operate all health facilities in Morobe, including Engao Memorial Provincial Hospital.
National Health Functional Grants, because they are okay with NEFC, the National Economic Physical Commission. They are the ones who decide who gets the functional grants and who does based on their calculation. Morobe, New Island, Western are not considered. For the last 2 or 3 years, we have not got functional grants from the National Department coming to us. But they think that we are well-to-do province and that money should be given from the provincial government to us.
Julie Badui, Owa, National EMTV News, Ley.
You're watching National EMTV News. We'll be back with more stories after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. Western Province will play host to the Senior Education Officers Conference. Education Minister Jimmy Uguro and Education Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra arrived yesterday in Kiunga for the conference. They were received by North Fly MP James Donald and provincial government officers. The 5-day conference will see senior officers from the department and other stakeholders bring to the table important agendas to discuss. The Senior Education Officers Conference will close on Friday. The Wampara LLG in the Huon Gulf District will have a new junior high school. For many years, students had to travel to the Salamaua High School, which posed logistical and lodging challenges for the students. Plans for the school have been launched and officials will now work to secure funding to build infrastructure.
This is the plan for the new Wampara Junior High School being handed over to the Morobe Provincial Education Board's Executive Officer Nathaniel Salem. It marks the launching of the new school, which will serve students in the Wampara LLG. For Morobe's Education Division, it is a step towards implementing the education reform.
Wampara LLG no Wampara High School. So time PB di lugar display only thing long Wampara masih kat Wampara Junior High School belum amiat.
There has not been a high school built for the Wampara LLG for over 30 years. Students here have had to attend the Salamaua High School in the Salamaua LLG. Logistics and lodging have been the main struggles faced by Wampara students who travel to Salamaua.
Due to transportation, 1, the location, 2, the condition.
Dormitory tu ino sabino sufficient long catering mo gonna pigini. So some kind of some come up. Or pigini sa long school na come back.
Now that the school has been endorsed and launched by the Provincial Education Board, work on securing funding for the school will commence. When the infrastructure is built, they will be taking in grade 9s and 10s at the new Wampara Junior High School. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Ley.
The UPNG Rego Students Association will be visiting Kwikila Secondary School and Kareko Village in Rego Central to carry out awareness. The aim of the visit is to talk to students and address issues affecting communities.
The Rego Student Association, or RSA, annually visits schools in the district as part of their academic prospect to foster change through education and help guide students, especially the ones attending secondary schools, to stay focused on their studies as well as providing vital educational information.
So basically it's to strengthen them psychologically and also, give them that fresh mindset of what education is and why it is important for them to, be serious with their studies.
For the past few years, the level of education in Rego district has declined with low performance from students, resulting in poor outcomes. Kwikila Secondary School is one of the biggest institutions in Central Province with almost 1,000 students attending, but the number of students selected to attend tertiary institutions and universities every year is low. This has been a concern for the Rego students attending the University of Papua New Guinea.
Other secondary schools in the province, there are a lot of students coming into the University of Papua New Guinea. And what about us, Central Province, Kwikila especially? One is not enough.
RSA continues to encourage students to aim high and prioritize their studies. Apart from education, they have also visited several villages to carry out awareness and provide helpful community information.
We're thinking that it's better for us to reach out to inland places as well, where our information, our presentations and stuff will be, taken by the people, and it will be helpful to them as well.
On a rural scale, this Friday, the students will visit Karakodobu village in Rego to talk about current issues faced and provide alternative solutions at community level.
Current issues like violence, because it's common in our area, health issues, COVID-19, and other social issues that are affecting the community. So what we're going to do there is to basically address those issues that are already there.
During the visit, RSA will also do a community project to build a shelter and install a water tank that will be used by the school and the village. Suli, National EMTV News.
Addressing work conditions of employees is one of United Labour Party's policies. This was announced by party leader Sam Basil at the ULP convention in Madang recently. The Deputy Prime Minister and Bulolo MP explained that his party will work closely with the PNG Workers' Union to develop a good policy for workers.
Party leader Sam Basil drew down the party policies during the two-day ULP convention at Magyar along the North Coast Road of Madang. The policies are still in its infant stage, but one of the most critical issues ULP will address is challenges in the PNG workforce. A separate convention called the United Labour Party and PNG Workers' Union Convention will be held in Port Moresby in the coming months.
We will find a way forward how to synchronize and work together. For example, if ULP have serves in the opposition, the party leader takes the responsibility of meeting all the requirements of the unions throughout the country to take into the floor of Parliament should and when required.
To reinforce the partnership, President of the RD Group of Companies, Martin Alibob, representing trade union movements in PNG, met with Sam Basil at the convention. RD Group of Companies has 3,000 employees with issues that ULP can address.
We talk people to thank you, but we work boom one time, only man one time. Inside the one them all work, people are working, but number and big plus something, and people workforce in the country. People will give him number, and people will support him. One set or candidate, two set candidate, and staff in the races. People will stand up, fully support on the ULP because people got need, people got crime, people got worry. The
planned convention in the nation's capital is expected to have ULP members as well as other interested parliamentarians and executives of the Workers' Union in PNG in attendance. One of the agendas for the meeting will be on finding ways to coordinate the unions into the party's constitution. A MOA will be signed after the gathering.
We will set the parameters on the operations of the parliamentary wing, the executive arm of United Labour Party, and of course our interaction with the Union Council in Port Moresby. We have that relationship already. We have representation on our non-parliamentary representative in our parliamentary wing in our National Council, which is John Pasca. That first stage is done. The second stage is to iron out issues and synchronize them into an MOA. Once that happens, I see that the proper function will come after 2022 elections. That's when the machinery will function very well. Like I said, we will delegate functions back to one of our parliamentary wing. If we're in government,
Luis, National EMTV News, Medeng.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Prime Minister has called on the Register of Political Parties to ensure all political parties host their conventions. The ULP leader says it is important that political parties outline their policies to the people before the national general elections.
Plenty party, more of 50 to 60 party, and we register book Papua New Guinea. Jimmy must make sure that only Peki must make him work plan. Law writing pass. We go to General Secretary, all got a political party, only must hold him conventions. Now only must cut him policies. Now only must go to one half of Papua New Guinea. Now make him this plan work because plenty time. Political party register na high law those Tony start. Now time of elections. Only can put him candidate. Now candidate too, he mark him that's only go on. Only no got strong plan of frame policies. No got strong plan talk only give him no people pastime. Now people is have a party before national elections. So me give him strong blessing out from me. We go to Wasman, blow Wasman, blow Olipek. Law enemy must make him work long end. Law make sure all the political party registered, he must go out and call him convention now. Convention must come up. People of Papua New Guinea must have it. One kind flavor, one kind policy, one kind something only ready in local elections. People must have it before only go elections. No good Jimmy make him before planning man by go I pass. Now vote nothing. Without only have a policy party. Now you shut them leader of party. Now when something only stand up him.
The national government's SME support is not too exciting for some SMEs. Owner of Auntie Popo's Chicken and Eggs, Pauline Bogombari, said she collected the forms from BSB Bank but gave up proceeding with the loan application as there were too many requirements where a small business like hers cannot meet.
I'm already logo out now.
Pauline Bogombari owns and operates Auntie Popo's Chicken and Eggs. The egg part of the business is a trial and error for her, but she is determined to make it work. Her hens have already started laying eggs. She is selling a dozen eggs for 10 kina.
Me plus collecting egg. First time I'll start all no. Like me plus working 1 dozen or kind of sell 1 per day. But now I'm only make close to so 7, 8, 10 dozen a day or 1 per day.
Because she has only about 100 birds, the production at this stage is low. But as determined as she is, Pauline plans to expand the business by increasing the number of layers in the near future.
Everything will go into something bigger. Me like by more egg, layers. Plenty now looking social media or me go out something now asking me all like buy egg or buy more little called chicks. Layer chicks local go team number produce egg. Kind of same. But me talk me to mix in lay.
She was excited when she heard that the government had put funds into the bank for the SME sector. Having an account with BSB Bank, she got the forms but never completed the process.
So last time we looking the newspaper, the news that government putting people money go inside the SME sector. So me being corner registering business for me opening account for me. Problem is the same. I'm hard to me play legal line local bank na accessing this fund. Do me looking the same. This SME I'm not reaching me play legal line. Me been call PSP mixing all application form can like filling in back. Plenty 1 and 2 months requirements na hard for me. Kisim loan.
She has this concern for the government.
Yes, me got plenty stuff. Thinking I'm stuff, but money tas only plus something. Suppose government can look savvy me plow all simple SME mama way. Me plow go in finish all kind of production all SME or same, the look saving, I give funding, me play, about right to them can help me play local, home.
Since she couldn't meet the BSP SME loan requirements, she is hoping the National Development Bank has simpler requirements. She says she will be paying a visit to NDB to inquire and open an account. Pauline's egg business is probably one of the first SMEs in that range of poultry in the National Capital District. But despite the expense involved as she purchases most of her supplies from Lay, she is determined to expand the number of layers and her business with or without government support. For residents in Port Moresby who want to purchase fresh eggs from Auntie Popo's Chicken and Eggs Farm, you can place your orders through her Facebook page. Shamin Poriambeb, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NAS Fund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3754 Australian dollars, $0.3924 New Zealand dollars, and 29.86 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed higher, cocoa and copra closed lower. Crude oil is trading higher, palm oil closed lower, and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. Trukai Sports is next, all the details after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited today presented a cheque of $1,200,000 Kina to Cricket PNG. Cricket PNG Board Secretary Michael Harrison says the money will be used in support of PNG Barramundis' participation in the 2020 World Cup tournament in Oman.
The injection of 1.2 million Kina will now help sustain PNG Barramundis' stay during the 2020 World Cup. The PNG Barramundis arrived today in Dubai and will be preparing for the T20 World Cup, which will start on the 17th of October.
Yes, it certainly will. It'll help us a long way. We have obviously 3 teams we've got to support, not just one, so it's a pretty tough challenge, and cricket's played all over the world, and it costs a lot of money to get them all there, as well as the whole side. You know, like there's a touring party, I think nearly 26 that have gone away to Dubai with physios and team doctors and team managers and coaches. So yeah, it's a big challenge.
For the T20 game, it's going to have a huge audience across the world. This is a good exposure for Kumul Petroleum, good exposure especially for Papua New Guinea in participating in such a world event. You know, we are very proud to be supporting them, and you know, we didn't hesitate to come in and pick up the naming rights sponsorship for what is a successful organization.
The PNG Barramundis will face the co-host Oman in the opening match of the T20 World Cup. Meanwhile, the PNG Lewas will travel to Zimbabwe in November for the qualifying games for the Women's World Cup next year in New Zealand. Porivai, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details coming up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
I'll look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Mostly fine, though partly cloudy in Port Moresby. Mostly fine weather in Daru, and thundery showers in Kerema. Some showers and thunderstorms in Alotau, and possible thundery showers, then cloudy periods in Popondetta. In the Momasa region, a few showers and partly cloudy, then morning fog and drizzles on Ley. Mostly fine, apart from brief thundery showers in Midang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, light thundery showers, then cloudy morning in Lorengau, KVN, and cloudy periods with a few showers and possible thunderstorms in Kokopo and Rabaul. Partly cloudy with possible morning showers in Kimbe and occasional rain showers and thunderstorms in Buka. And in the Highlands region, partly cloudy with some drizzles, then morning fog in Goroka and Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg included, and some thundery showers, then morning fog in Mount Hagen.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Before we go, a healthier choice non-alcoholic beverage has hit the PNG market. The product is being distributed by SB Brewery. The product has 0 alcohol and is named Heineken 00.
In a world which is trendy and health conscious, the move to have a healthier choice of a particular product is paramount for consumers across the globe. Non-alcoholic alcohol may be a growing trend in other parts of the world and something that is hard to believe could exist here in Papua New Guinea.
Today, South Pacific Brewery is launching Heineken 00. It's a malt lager, it's real beer with no alcohol. As pioneering brewers in Papua New Guinea since 1952, we are committed to introducing new and innovative products and meet and develop customer needs.
The product Heineken 00 has 0 alcohol, but a distinctive taste of beer, and is being distributed by SP Brewery. It is a complicated process of brewing the beer, a trade secret so to say, but is said to be healthier.
Again, a more healthier product being fully brewed naturally and having, again, as I mentioned, twice as less calories versus some of the soft drinks.
Sticking with the global trend, the product could see a rise in Papua New Guinea. Despite being non-alcoholic, it is not for consumers under the alcohol consumption age.
We take our responsibility extremely seriously, and although Heineken 00 does not contain alcohol, we do not target consumers below the legal drinking age.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV News.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Monday, the 30th of August, 2021. Until next time, pleasant viewing, be safe and good night.